Welcome to Big B Daily. No frauds allowed.
What's going on, people? Welcome back to Big B Daily Show. This is your man, Brien Hanley, Big B. And welcome. We are live on TikTok. What's going on, TikTok? We are live on YouTube. What is happening, YouTube? I appreciate everybody being here this morning. So thank you guys for tuning in. Talking a little fraud of the week. We've moved the fraud of the week from Tuesdays to Wednesdays. I think that's appropriate. We're talking a little bit of Lakers, what they need to do today. Arthur Smith got hired by the Pittsburgh Steelers to be the offensive coordinator. We'll talk about that. Oh, my God. We'll figure that out. And then open it up and see what you guys are wanting to talk about today, man. So I appreciate everybody being here today. Again, on TikTok, 5,000 likes. Keep tapping the screen, man. Want as many people in here as possible. 30 new follows. If you're not following, please give me a follow. Same thing on YouTube. Please subscribe if you haven't already. TikTok, please click the YouTube link in my bio. Come on over and subscribe to Big B Sports Talk. A lot of stuff over there. So let's get this thing going today. So first thing is, let's talk about the fraud of the week. Let's get the fraud of the week out of the way. Mike, I don't know. Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens, Dan Campbell. Now, just like I always do, I usually let you guys decide on who and what is the fraud of the week. I let you guys come up with it, and I make the decision. I think there can only be I don't know if necessarily the Ravens are frauds, but I think it's going to come down to Dan Campbell or Lamar Jackson. If there's somebody else out there that you guys are thinking about, want to talk about, please let me know. But for my personal belief, I think fraud of the week has got to be either Lamar Jackson or Dan Campbell. Some people are saying Zay Flowers. We get those Zay Flowers into that mix. I don't know if I will, but yeah, we can throw Zay Flowers into that mix. So, I mean, that's kind of where we're at with this, with this fraud of the week, man. And again, for context, you gotta be considered good to be a fraud. You can't be bad and do something bad and then us say you're a fraud. That doesn't work. So, and y'all are overruling me. Y'all are saying that it's Zay Flowers. My man Golf Hawk over on YouTube, he is back. He found us back on 9 a.m. because we're 9 a.m. Monday through Friday now. We move times. I appreciate he was always in here on YouTube. So I'm glad you found us, Golf Hawk. I'm glad you're back. But yeah, we are. Hutchinson, where was he? I mean, you're right. But who was Hutchinson going against? Trent Williams. Did we think Hutchinson was going to do anything? I mean, let's just be honest. Did we think Aiden Hutchinson was just going to whip Trent Williams? No. Trent Williams is in that conversation of moving into the best left tackle of all time. Now, I don't think he is. I don't think he's going to get there. But he's definitely the best left tackle in the last 10 years. So, did we think Hutchinson was going to do anything against him? I don't. If you did, you were fooling yourself. So I'm not going to say Hutchinson. I think it comes down to either Lamar or Dan Campbell. And look, and let's just break it down. Lamar didn't do the things that we know Lamar can do to go win a football game. He just didn't do that. That's my thing. Stop dancing around in the pocket and go run. And it's crazy. The week before, he did. That's what's crazy. The week before against the Texans, he did just that. And he just didn't do it against the Chiefs. And there were plenty of opportunities. Just refused to do it. I think Dan Campbell, I just believe that I think we know the Dan Campbell conundrum. I think we know. I think we know about Dan Campbell. And everybody keeps making excuses for the man, talking about that's all he did all year. He wasn't even consistent in the same game. Because again, at the end of the first half, they were on the 3-yard line and with all the momentum and had an opportunity to go score a touchdown, and he didn't do it. With 10 seconds to go, he didn't do it. He kicked the field goal. Why? Because he wanted to go up 3 scores. I mean, and again, he had that same opportunity right after the half, after 49ers went down and kicked the field goal. He had that same opportunity, but instead he went for it. It's choke job. It's just not smart decisions. It was just not smart decisions. Like I said, you can be okay, I'm going to do it. I'm playing this game off of the gut, off of my gut. Man, kick the field goal. Kick the field goal. So, and here we go. He isn't a fraud for doing what he did all season. But again, it isn't what he did all season because, like I just said, he didn't even do it in the same game. Within 10 minutes of playing time, he made different decisions. So don't tell me that's what he did all season. That ain't true. So that's not true. Because if he was being a greedy coach before the end of the half when they had all the momentum, he would have done it. Not to mention, he should have gotten Ben Johnson's ear and said, hey, Ben Johnson, run the damn football. The first half, they ran it 22 times for like 148 yards. The second half, they ran it 7. At some point, as a head coach, you got to, not that you're calling the plays, but say, hey, man, stop throwing the damn ball. We had success running it. Run the football. That's part of your job as a head coach. And don't say, well, he's not the play caller. No, he's not. But Dan Campbell's an offensive guy. He sure is. Dan Campbell's a smart guy, too. Let's not say Dan Campbell's dumb. So, but for me, fraud of the week, I'm saying all this about Dan Campbell, and I'll never stop. I mean, he made a mistake, plenty of mistakes, and cost his team the game by being greedy. I love the analogy that he's greedy, but it was just silly mistakes. So, and don't say the calls were right, the execution was bad. That's lazy because why wasn't kicking the field goal right? And I know the guy dropped the ball, kick the field goal. You don't even have to worry about that. That's the right decision. And Dan Campbell is an amazing coach. But he got in the way. He 1,000% got in the way. But he didn't get in the way as much as Lamar. As much as I love Lamar, and that's odd because I'm a Steelers fan, as much as I love Lamar and wanted them to win, Lamar Jackson's a fraud of the week. He cost them the game. He cost them the game. It's just, they cost them the game. It just, period, point blank. Lamar Jackson, his inability, 10 points? That's all you can muster, 10 points? Yeah. That's Lamar Jackson. Nobody said he did it alone, Alex. Nobody said it was Lamar Jackson alone because nobody loses anything alone. But you can put the majority of the blame on him. And if you don't, then you're not being honest. I mean, Lamar Jackson didn't play well. If Lamar Jackson plays well, they win. Period. End of story. But he didn't. And there's no excuse. It's like Patrick Mahomes. Like Patrick Mahomes played great in the first half. He did nothing in the second half until he had to. Till he had to make a play to win the game, he did it. And that's the difference, man. That's just the difference. Those are just facts. Let's see. Darren Howard talking about Aiden Hutchinson and him being a fraud. Hutchinson played both sides and got good push on Trent, just made no splash plays. And that's what you need from your stars. Exactly. Same thing I'm talking about with Lamar Jackson. At some point, you have to make a play if you're the star. You got to make a play for your team to win. So that's the difference. I don't give anybody any excuses when you don't make a play, when your team needs you to make a play, if you're the superstar. You know, if you're the punt returner, I'm not going to hold you accountable for not returning a punt if your team needs you. But when you're the quarterback and you can't make enough plays for your team to win and actually make a few plays and your play cost you the game, I'm going to hold you accountable. And we should all hold him accountable, just like we held Josh Allen accountable. Y'all were in here bashing me, and I don't care. Josh Allen played a great football game against the Chiefs. But when they needed him to make a play, Josh Allen could not make the play to win. So, ladies and gentlemen, Lamar Jackson, fraud. Fraud of the week. Hopefully, Lamar can learn and come back and stop trying to placate to everybody or placate to the masses and just say, you know what? I want to get to the Super Bowl. I need to do whatever it takes to get to the Super Bowl. I don't care if they call me a running back. I don't care if they say that I can't throw the football. I don't care about any of that. All I want to do is make it to the Super Bowl. And he could have done that. He could have done that. So, somebody making excuses. Penalties killed. Fumble on the touchdown. D couldn't do a thing with KC on the first two drives. So the first two drives of the game mean, and they were only down 14-0 or 14-7. I mean, you act like the game was 25-0. It wasn't. All they could get was 10 points. Got to watch more football, man. And nobody said it was all Lamar's fault. Nobody said that. But he didn't make enough plays to win the game. Period, point blank. Period, point blank. And if Lamar already had that mindset, then we wouldn't have seen what we saw on Sunday. So we wouldn't have seen what we saw on Sunday. He had the opportunity. He just wasn't himself. And people can say this. Maybe the moment was too big for him. Maybe the pressure got to him. Golf Hawk says Lamar laid an egg over on YouTube. Okay. Lamar laid an egg. You know, nobody wants to criticize the man or just be honest. It's just the truth. It's just the truth. So, Pat Cockrell says we should have went with Campbell. He coached his team out of a Super Bowl. I believe he coached his team out of a Super Bowl too. But Lamar played his team out of a Super Bowl. He played his team out of a Super Bowl. And I hope Lamar Jackson comes back next year and wins the MVP again. Now, I don't want him to go to the Super Bowl because I would love for my Pittsburgh Steelers to go to the Super Bowl. So I can be flat out honest about that. I don't want Lamar in the Super Bowl next year because I want to be in the Super Bowl. I want my team to be in the Super Bowl. And we'll talk about that here in a minute. I don't see how we can do that with the hire that we just made as offensive coordinator. I just, it's so depressing. It's so depressing. So, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, Lee Campbell is definitely a close second. But at the end of the week, or at the end of the day, Lamar Jackson, he's got to eat it. He's got to own it. He's the fraud of the week. He's the fraud of the week. So let's move on, people. Let's move on. So the NBA, I don't know if you guys are paying attention to the NBA. I started to a little bit, but football season and as you guys know, the NBA for me is my fourth favorite sport. NFL, college basketball, college football, then the NBA. And for the most part, I don't pay that much attention to the NBA until the NFL season is over. But I've done that this year. I mean, we started this show. Y'all like talking about the NBA. So I'm like, you know what? I got to start paying more attention. So the Lakers are just a bumbling, fumbling team of misfits right now. Now, are we going to blame it on LeBron? Okay. I mean, LeBron's got to take again, I just bashed Lamar Jackson for not doing enough for his team to win. I can't then not blame LeBron for doing enough for his team to win. So he's got to do it. He's got to be part of this. It doesn't matter that he's a million years old. At some point, you got to be the reason that your team wins. And he does it on occasion because he was the reason that they beat Golden State on Saturday night. Now, granted, they had a team, but he was the reason. He was part of the solution. Well, then you go and you get your head beat in by Houston and Atlanta back to back. I'm like, what are we doing? So, and here's Lele saying the Lakers, watch, will make a run, but will lose in the playoffs, even if they make the conference finals. I don't know if they make the conference finals this year. I mean, looking out west, I mean, clearly Denver is the best team. I think Phoenix is going to end up being really good. I know the big three that they haven't played a ton of games together. I just have a feeling that they're going to catch fire, and all three of those guys, Beal, Durant, and Booker, are all going to end up catching fire, and they're going to lay the wood some teams. They're going to lay the wood. Minnesota is playing. Has anybody seen Ant-Man, by the way? Has anybody followed what Ant-Man is doing out in Minnesota? I was shocked. I mean, I knew he was really good, and I paid close attention, but I'm shocked. He's playing outstanding basketball, and nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. So, the Wolves, yes, the Wolves are good. The Wolves are good. Now, I will say this about the Wolves. We've seen them disappear in the playoffs. We've seen that. So, I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out. Hopefully they can put it together. But there's a lot going on out in the West. Besides them, Phoenix, the Nuggets, and Minnesota, I don't know if Golden State's going to be able to put it together. Who else do you guys like out West? Legitimately, I know there's good teams, and I'm asking from you guys. Who do you legitimately like out West besides those three? I know OKC is out there. The only thing is they have no playoff experience. I mean, none. I think that matters. I think that has to matter. So that has to matter. And that's my man, Pat Cockrell, saying SGA could win the MVP. I think he could. The Clippers. The Clippers are playing probably the best basketball of anybody in the NBA. My man Chuck Miller points out the Clippers. A lot of y'all are pointing out the Clippers. I think everybody is just holding their breath on the Clippers. I think that's why a lot of you hadn't said the Clippers. I'm the same way. If the Clippers are healthy, the Clippers are the best team. But are they going to be healthy? I know you're talking, man, it's like, what are we talking about? Them being healthy. I mean, you shouldn't even be talking about somebody being healthy. Of course they would. I mean, it's the exact opposite with the Clippers. The Clippers have never been healthy. The one time they were healthy, they were mentally weak in the bubble. And they had Doc Rivers as their coach. So you got Doc Rivers, that's a problem. And Milwaukee's going to find out how good a coach Doc Rivers is. They're going to end up finding out. You got rid of Adrian Griffin for Doc Rivers? That's the answer? Woo! My goodness. Yeah, you're going to find out the hard way. Old Doc. 031 Doc. Ty Lue better than Doc Rivers. Hey, man, Lou Charles, there's about 15 to 25 of us in this room that are better coaches than Doc Rivers. Come on, man. First of all, who does Doc know that he keeps getting these jobs? That's what I want to know. Who does Doc Rivers know where he keeps getting these jobs? I want to know. Who? What's he doing? He's got pictures of somebody's wife doing something or an owner doing something. He's got something. Because this man, he's been living off of an NBA title that he won, 16 years now? He's been living off of that. And he's done nothing in the playoffs ever since. And who cares if the players like him? He can't coach. Whew. Man, oh man. But it is what it is. He got the job. We'll find out. I would love for the Thunder to make a run, though, man. I would love for the Thunder to make a run. The Thunder, the Clippers. But I just want the Clippers to be healthy. Let us see what happens when the Clippers are healthy. Can they make a run? Can they do it if they're healthy? So, Darren Howard over on YouTube said, Doc Rivers, fraud. Gave up a 20-point lead his first game back. I mean, they act like Doc Rivers was going to solve all their defensive problems. Like somehow he was going to make Damian Lillard a better defender. That ain't happening. The Mavs don't have anything really outside of Luka and Kyrie, so unreliable nowadays. Yeah. The Mavs don't have anything. I mean, Tim Hardaway Jr. is a 3, maybe he's more of a 4. He just has to be the number 3. I mean, he can get hot some nights, but if you're relying on Tim Hardaway Jr., who can't dribble, by the way, if you're relying on him to be your number 3, your team is in trouble. Flipping it over to the East, yeah, somebody brought it up before I could even say it. The Knicks. The old Knicks. Now, I want to see how Julius Randle being out, how that's going to affect them. But the Knicks, I think all NBA fans are rooting for the Knicks. I think enough is enough. People want to see the Knicks win. You know what I'm saying? The Garden to be electric. I think people want to see the Knicks win. We're going to see. I like Jalen Brunson. I said the move that they made, that the Knicks got fleeced on that trade. It doesn't look like it, does it? It doesn't look like it. Still got a lot of basketball to go, but it doesn't look like it. He was that defender that they needed. OG was that wing defender they needed. So we'll see. I like the Knicks. Boston is clearly the best. If Embiid is hurt, which it looks like he is again, my God, then the Sixers are finished. I mean, Embiid has the most brittle soft tissue that I've ever seen. Ligaments, hammy, ankles, knee. Anytime he gets pushed or touched, he's out. Y'all do realize that Embiid could win the MVP, but since they put in the restrictions of the number of games that you can miss, I think he only has like 4 or 5 to go, more games before he's not qualified. Which I love that, by the way. I love it. I love the fact that the league put in a minimum number of games for you to be able to win awards. I love that fact. And when they come up with the next round at the bargaining table, you rest assured that NBA owners are going to put into the contract to have a guaranteed contract. You got to play a minimum number of games. That is going in. That is definitely, the owners aren't going to stand for all this load management stuff. They're just not. So I love that fact. So we'll see. Yeah, you're right, Lou. That's a rare Adam Silver win. I mean, they completely turned everything over to the players, which I don't disagree. I love player empowerment, but enough is enough. Enough is enough. Given guarantee, I want everybody to make as much money as they can. But the guy that averages 11 points a game shouldn't go out and be able to get an 11 or $100 million contract. What the hell are we doing, people? And then won't practice basketball anymore. I got $100 million guaranteed. I'm done. I'm set for life. We'll see, man. We'll see. But bringing it all the way home, man, I think the Lakers got to figure some stuff out. Pascal Siakam moved the needle for the Pacers. Yeah, I think he did. I absolutely think he did. I think the Pacers are saying, hey, man, we can win now. Can they win the title? Probably not. But they're giving it a try, which isn't that all we ask of our franchises is to go try? So glasses inside is wild. I don't understand. Why is it wild? Tell me why it's wild. I wear them every day and have for a year doing this, but glasses inside is wild. People will say anything these days. But oh well. Oh, but well be. Pat Cockrell says, I don't know. As a Cowboy fan, I will say he's seeing Stephen A. in misery brings a smile to his face. Yeah. Stephen A. loves the Knicks. So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. Moving on. Although I did see a funny meme yesterday. It was Patrick Mahomes. It was a Scooby-Doo. And I'm sure all of y'all saw it too. It was a Scooby-Doo meme where Patrick Mahomes was Fred and he took off the mask. This must be you. And it was Lamar Jackson. We'll find out who this really is. Takes off the mask, Dak Prescott. I was like, the internet is undefeated. People. Just undefeated. Hilarious. So, Ohio State owns Notre Dame and Penn State. Okay. Tell us something we don't know. Does Coach Andy Reid retiring after the Super Bowl? I don't think he does. I don't think he's finished. But let's move on, people. Let's move on. A quick side note, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Time, Big B Daily Show, live on TikTok, live on YouTube, man. Keep tapping the screen on TikTok. We need 5,000 likes and at least 30 new follows. So continue to hit the like button and subscribe. Well, follow and then click the YouTube link in my bio and come over, subscribe to YouTube at Big B Sports Talk. Come on over. So, no, we cannot talk Purdue basketball. We can talk about that here in a little bit, my man. Stick around. We'll talk all the college basketball you want. I promise. But right now, we're going to talk about the Steelers and them hiring Arthur Smith. My man Nick on TikTok says, if Arthur Smith will utilize the weapons like he didn't do in Atlanta, we have a top 10 offense. Well, let's pump the brakes. Who's going to be the quarterback? That would be number one. Okay? So before we start talking about top 10 offense, let's talk about who the quarterback is going to be. So that would be the first thing. So the second thing is hopefully he decides that, yes, I need to utilize all my weapons. That literally got me fired from my head coaching job in Atlanta. And everybody is telling me, well, I don't know what you're talking about, B. He was great as an offensive coordinator in Tennessee. He made Tannehill look great. I said, pump the brakes on that. Derrick Henry made Tannehill look great. So what he did was run the football. And yes, their offenses were efficient. That's because Derrick Henry was running that football, and the play action looked absolutely insane. Guys were wide open. The Steelers have had problems running the football, number one, because the offensive line hasn't been very good. It got a hell of a lot better the second half of the season this year. Hopefully it can continue. So the Steelers need a quarterback before anything. Don't talk to me about baby hands Pickett. I don't want to hear it. Baby hands Pickett is not the answer. And I know people are going to say, oh, come on, B, give him a chance. We did give him a chance. Number one, baby hands Pickett is injury prone. That's number one. He's been hurt. He got hurt this year. He got hurt last year. Different year. If you said that Lamar Jackson was injury prone and we say Joe Burrow is injury prone, can't we say Kenny Pickett is injury prone? He's played 2 years. He's been hurt both years. So we need a quarterback. That's number one. People keep saying we got to draft one. No, I don't know if the Steelers need to draft a quarterback because the Steelers are built to win now, except for the quarterback position. Do we want to wait on another rookie? I don't think you do. Russell Wilson may be available. Kirk Cousins may be available. At some point, the Steelers got to get into the 21st century of NFL football. They got to go pay a high price free agent that didn't come from within the organization. At some point, the Steelers got to decide that they want to dabble into that. It can't just be signing our own guys all the time. It can't just be that. Every now and then, it's fine if you develop and then you sign him. TJ Watt comes to mind. We traded for Mika Fitzpatrick, but that was after his rookie year. I get it. We've got some really good homegrown guys. But at some point, they have to go sign a free agent. Somebody in TikTok, the E, said Cousins is garbage. Because, hey, my man, you got to watch more football if you think Cousins is garbage. Go watch more football. So that's what the Steelers, at some point, they got to go sign a big-name free agent outside of signing their own. That's all I'm saying. And if we can find a quarterback, Mason Rudolph is a good backup, people. He did his job, but he is not the answer. So we got to figure that out. Baby hands is not the answer. I'm sorry. Baby hands Pickett is not the answer. Injury prone. 6 touchdowns last year? 6. And I know you guys think I'm lying. Go look it up. He threw for 6 touchdowns in 11 football games last year. Now, I know you're going to say that Matt Canada is the problem. And he was the problem. There's no mistaking that Matt Canada was an issue. But don't tell me that Matt Canada was the only issue on why you didn't trust to throw the ball down the middle of the field. That was you. Because as soon as you came out of the game, we put Mason Rudolph in. Mason Rudolph's throwing the ball down the middle of the field. Imagine that. So, what's it like being worse than the Browns lately? Well, how are we worse than the Browns? Describe how the Steelers are worse than the Browns. They played twice this year. They split. The Browns went to the playoffs and got their head beaten in, where the Steelers played a good game against Buffalo. So tell me again how we haven't been. And last year, how good were the Browns? So it's just, Browns fans will say anything. They were screaming at the top of their lungs at the beginning of the season, just screaming that the Steelers were going to stink and they were going to be so much better. And here we are at the end of the year, and you're not better. And only a Browns fan would say that. Now you're coming in here and lying. I'm not a Browns fan. You're lying. You're lying. And nobody wants to hear any different. So, but to say that the Steelers are worse than the Browns, I mean, I don't know. But yeah, man, Arthur Smith, back to him. It's better. It's better, I guess. But I'm gonna have to see it. Because Kyle Pitts, I mean, just was not utilized at all for absolutely no reason. Even Bijan Robinson, for some reason, they used him at the beginning of the season. And then from about game 5 to about game 14, we'll use him sparingly. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? It's crazy. So it's an upgrade for sure. It's an upgrade. What's going on, Jaden's Jersey? What's happening, my man? It's definitely an upgrade for the Steelers, but we'll see. I just don't trust. I don't trust it. Prove me wrong. I'm a much better person. I can see better than I can hear. Prove me wrong, Arthur Smith. Because at this point, Mike Tomlin, this better work. This better work. Because if it doesn't work, I don't want to hear it. If it doesn't work, I don't want to hear it. I love what Art Rooney II came out and said. The playoff drought needs to be over. Not winning a game in the playoffs, this is 7 years in a row, that needs to be over. So I love it. I love it. So I think that's that saying it in itself, and how they waited, and they still are waiting to give Tomlin an extension. Will it be a big extension, or does he get 1 year? If I'm Art Rooney II, I say you can have a 1-year extension, Tomlin. I need to see something different. If I don't see something different, I'm sorry, your services are no longer required. And I know everybody's going to come for me. I know everybody's going to say, what are you talking about? They've never had a losing season. Look, having a never have a losing season, that's a record that does mean something. It does. But if you can never turn that into any type of playoff success, then who cares? That's all I'm saying. Who cares? So, and it's not like that, Tomlin, we haven't squandered opportunities. I mean, we had the best offense in the league, and we couldn't win a playoff game. Big Ben, Antonio Brown, Juju, Le'Veon Bell. We had the best offense in the league, one of the better offensive lines in the league, and we couldn't win a playoff game. So we'll figure it out. Hopefully, we will figure this out. I'm excited. I am excited. So, but like I said, you got to show me. You got to show me. I want to see it. So, over on YouTube, my man Austin, what's going on, Austin? He said Cousins is good, but not a Super Bowl quality QB. Why waste cap space on a QB who's not Super Bowl caliber? I don't know if you can say he's not Super Bowl caliber. Now, granted, he chokes in the big moments. And you know how I am about the big moments. So, but I know he was playing outstanding football this year. Before he got hurt, he was playing outstanding football this year. And Minnesota's roster was bad. Let's not kid ourselves. It was bad. And he single-handedly was keeping them in the race. So, but I don't know. I don't think that you can just go into the season saying Kenny Pickett is the quarterback or Mason Rudolph is his competition. If you're trying to win, you got to upgrade, man. Hey, Kenny Pickett, you want to win the job? Go beat out Russell Wilson. You want the job? Go beat out Kirk Cousins. You know, you want the job? Go beat those guys out, and you can have the job. But until we see you do that, you don't have this job. You know, hell, if we're just being honest, he wouldn't beat out Mason Rudolph. If Rudolph was given an honest opportunity, Baby Hands wouldn't have beat him out. So let's move on, though. I'll talk about the Steelers all day long. I can talk about the Steelers and their ineptitude all day long at the quarterback position. I don't want to bore you guys. Let's open this thing up, man. Fire away at some questions. What do we got? What do we got? I'm holding off on all Super Bowl predictions till next week. So that's the only thing. Don't ask because I'm not going to answer. Let's get to next week, and then we can talk about all the Super Bowl stuff you want. The one thing that I will talk about is freaking Kadarius Toney saying that he's not hurt, and Andy Reid saying, yeah, he's hurt. He's going through some stuff. I loved it. It's basically Andy Reid is saying, look, we put you down as hurt because we didn't want to embarrass you. But now you're trying to embarrass me. You know what? I mean, you're never going to play here ever again. Ever again. Because if anybody thinks that Kadarius Toney is ever going to play another second for the Chiefs, you're kidding yourself. Especially after that. He ain't playing in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs don't need him. They literally do not need him. For what he brings to the table, they don't need him. So it's just insane. I don't know even know what he's mad about. I don't know what he's mad about. He knows the deal. He knows they put down that he was hurt so that because he's inactive. Unless he's just stupid, which I don't believe that he's stupid. I don't believe that. He has to know. He has to know why they did it. For him to come out and say, well, I'm not hurt. Well, they could have just kept you inactive because you're not good. You're a healthy scratch. They tried to save your feelings. Where the hell is his agent? And I do love that. GB, good question. Is Kadarius Toney even good? No. That is a great question. Is he even good? No, he's not. No, he's not. He's not good at all. You know? Yeah. Butterfingers, runs bad routes. No, he's not good. The Giants were right, it seems like. Everybody clowned the Giants for getting rid of him. The Giants were right. So, it's just silly. Yeah, he has potential. He's made a few big plays. A few. But he's also cost the Chiefs games. That's the difference. He's never been the reason that the Chiefs won. But he has been the reason that the Chiefs have lost. As a wide receiver, that can't be the case. That can never be the case. You can't be the reason your team loses. You don't have enough impact on the game as a wide receiver. You don't have enough impact, especially a wide receiver like him. What's he, a number 3 at best? You should never be the reason that the team loses. So, and he has been. What's going on, ex Capone? I'm doing good. How are you? I'd say he's a huge reason we won the Super Bowl last year. No, he's not. Why? Because he ran a 2-yard route and Patrick Mahomes threw him a ball when they confused Philadelphia's defense. And yeah, the punt return. Okay. He was part of the reason why they won it, but he wasn't the reason. Let's not kid ourselves. And even that play this year that got called back, was it him or was it Kelsey that made the play? Or was he just running by himself downfield, and did Kelsey happen to make the play, which was pointed out by my man Johnny here? Kelsey made an incredible play, not Toney. So, and no, he wasn't responsible for 2 TDs. You got to stop. It sounds like you are a Kadarius Toney supporter, KSU 1989, EMAW, by the way. But Kadarius Toney is not that good of a football player at all. You know that. I know that. We got to stop. You got to stop. All right. Pat Cockrell asked a question. Do you struggle as much as other fans watching Big 12 officiating during basketball games? 1,000,000%. The officiating, first of all, officiating overall in all sports, at least the ones that I watch, which are football and basketball, has been horrendous. Now, I will see the TikToks about the missed calls on Major League Baseball games, the ball and strikes. Like a guy had like 30 missed ball and strike calls. I don't know if that's normal. I would assume that it's not. But I've seen all of that. But the officiating over the last 5 years has turned horrendous, people. It is, yes, ex Capone, it is out of control. I've said for years that they got to start programs, getting younger officials, having guys be younger, start programs in college, ex-football players, ex-basketball players that aren't going to the next level. Hey, you know what? You can make a really good living being an official. Work your way up. You don't have to be, and make it so that they don't have to be 50 when they're finally get to the collegiate level or professional level. And again, I'm not knocking old people, but I'm 48 years old. I don't see things the same way that I did when I was 35. My eyesight isn't getting better as you get older. That's not how it works, people. My reflexes, my hand-eye coordination isn't getting better. So why are officials keep getting older, but the players stay the same age? We got to change that. So we got to change it. That's all I'm saying. We got to make officials. First of all, we got to start holding them accountable. And we don't know. We know the players get held accountable. We know that the coaches get held accountable. Hell, fans even get held accountable more than officials do, which is insane. How the hell do we not know what the penalty is when an official blows a call? Why don't we know? Why can't we know? If you make a mistake, again, players, coaches, even fans, everybody's punished publicly except officials. And you could say, well, it'll run them out of the game. Why? You're telling me getting run out of the game, you're going to get run out of the game because you made a mistake and somebody criticized you for it and you had to pay a penalty? Guess what happens if coaches make a mistake? They get fired. Guess what happens if a player makes a mistake? They get fired. If a fan does something stupid at a game, they get arrested. An official makes a mistake, they're human. Isn't that what they say? Todd, don't start with me on TikTok. Todd, don't you start with me talking about Tomlin. Don't you start with me. You already know how I feel about Tomlin coming back. Don't you start. Don't you do it. But everybody's held accountable except for officials. Everybody. And then they'll say, well, they got punished. They don't get to do the next playoff game, or they're not going to move on to the playoffs. Well, first of all, do we know that they were going to move on to the playoffs anyway? Do we know that? No, we don't. So to say that they're not going to, that doesn't mean that they were even qualified, that they were going to go anyway. That's a cop-out. That is a cop-out. So, Brandon, why are you starting with me with Arthur Smith? We already talked about Arthur Smith. Don't you do it, man. Why are y'all trying to be on my bad side today? Why? Well, I'm just trying to figure out. We get along so well all the time. And y'all are trying to just rub it in my face. First, somebody tried to say that the Browns were better. Then somebody's talking about Tomlin stand. Don't do it, Todd. Don't you say it again. Now, Brandon, just making jokes. Now you're just making, I'm trying to have a good day. This is a good morning. We're all alive. I'm a firm believer that, hey, man, we're alive. Let's have a good day. I'm a firm believer in that because we don't have to be. I appreciate the gift, Johnny. I appreciate it. But y'all are just on my head. I wouldn't have it any other way from the Goon Squad, though. The Goon Squad. And by the way, Coming soon, there are going to be Goon Squad t-shirts that are going to be available for purchase. Sooner than later, there will be Goon Squad t-shirts that are available to be purchased, and I want everybody to have one. I want everybody to buy one. I'll have one, and I'll show you what they look like. It's going to be wild. The Goon Squad. I got to take care of my people. The Goon Squad. So, do I like hockey? No, I don't. And I like going to hockey games. I'll go to a hockey game. But to watch hockey on TV, I can't do that. I can't do that. So, I just can't do it. Austin, college basketball problem is the officiating dictates the conference style of play. Come March, that's a problem. 1,000%, Austin. In college basketball, every conference has a different. One's more physical, one is not. And it fluctuates between conferences. And then they get into the NCAA tournament, and guys have been playing away for 2 months. They've been playing a certain way. You come up against a certain officiating crew, and then you lose. Now, part of that is coaching. Part of that, coaches got to do their homework, and they got to let their guys know. But you know how hard that is to adjust on a football or a basketball game? You've been playing a certain way for 2 months, and all of a sudden, this one game that can decide your season or will decide your season, you got to adjust how you play. But that's basketball, though. Sometimes refs call things tighter than others. You know, yeah, the Big Ten is notorious for letting people get their head beaten in. The ACC, not so much. Not so much. Mike DeRuler, who was fraud of the week? Definitely had to be Lamar. Yes, sir, my man. Lamar was the fraud of the week. He was the fraud of the week. So, all right, people. We are going to shut this one down today. I appreciate everybody being here. Again, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Time, the Big B Daily Show, live on TikTok. We are live on YouTube. Again, we didn't make our goal as far as likes. We didn't get to 5,000, but you guys did your best, man. It was really engaged on TikTok and really engaged on YouTube as well, man. We appreciate everybody that showed up today. Again, TikTok, give me a follow if you're not already following. And then click the link on YouTube in my bio. Click that YouTube link and come and subscribe to Big B Sports Talk over on YouTube. It is fun. It is fun. Get a lot of access to a lot of different things. Podcasts, interviews, a lot of shorts, a lot of breakdowns, things that you don't get access to on TikTok. Come on over. We appreciate everybody being part of the Daily Show, man. Thank you, guys. We'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully we can do it better. I'll holler at you all. Aloha.